Purpose, purpose should guide action. So the beginning place really is a philosophical issue. What is the nature of human beings? How can we draw upon the best thinking about the nature of the student? Because if we're going to create an educational system that has the highest prospects of educating an individual, should we know what kind of individual we want to create? Otherwise, how do we know if we're on the right track? A friend of mine was fond of telling the story about the mountaineer family that won a refrigerator without knowing what the purpose of the refrigerator was. And so when they received it, they put it on the porch of their cabin. Well, I suppose you could use a refrigerator as a storage cabinet for boots and shoes. But here's the point. Because they didn't know what its purpose was, they were out of touch with its essential reality and therefore could not draw out the full potential of the refrigerator. Well, the same thing holds true of individuals. Now, what is our purpose? And what are we capable of? What's the most magnificent view? What's the most magnificent set of assumptions that we can make about the nature of human beings based on science and based on the broadest philosophical perspective? The particular program that I was associated with, there were a certain number of our staff who looked at 2,000 years of both Eastern and Western philosophical thought, clear down to the modern day process philosophers, to get at least at the beginning, a basic sense of the nature of who we are as human beings. And so that then gave direction to other efforts that had to do with creating this comprehensive educational system. The profession, in fact the world in general, has bemoaned the fact that we have no comprehensive theory of development. We have no comprehensive theory of pedagogy. We have no comprehensive theory of curriculum. And therefore we have no comprehensive theory of evaluation, all the important elements in the construction of a full blown educational system. Why don't we have that? Even the theorists, the scientists in those fields have said, don't bother. It's too big a task. They've struggled for years and they've failed. And I'm sure at the beginning when we were telling people what we were doing, they thought it was rather presumptuous that one faculty member and a group of graduate students could take on those great questions and solve them. Well, we found the key to why the others had failed. The key was no serious philosophical work had been done. You cannot develop a comprehensive theory of development, a comprehensive theory of teaching or curriculum or evaluation without having a broader scheme of thought that then gives direction and guidance to how you put the pieces together. For example, within the field of development, you've got the behaviors on one hand, you've got the modern day third force psychologists, you've got other approaches to the understanding of the nature of human development. And they're kind of like the three blind men who are trying to develop, trying to define what the elephant is. Well, and so they argue. The Piagetians, for example, battle the behaviorists. and they appear irreconcilable in terms of pooling their knowledge and coming up with a more comprehensive theory than either behaviorism can provide or a Piagetian theory. But what we found was that these theories, development, teaching, curriculum, evaluation, are necessarily derivative theories from a broader scheme of thought. And the broader scheme of thought is a broad, comprehensive, adequate, coherent philosophy. So in this effort of looking at both Eastern and Western streams of philosophical thought over the last 2,000 years, the team found a unique synthesis of all of that, represented in the process philosophy of Alfred North Whitehead, one of the crowning intellects of the 20th century, a British scholar, initially a mathematician, logician, who in his later years was attracted from Cambridge, England to Cambridge, Massachusetts, and he took up a chair there in philosophy and spent the mellowing last years of his professional career writing philosophy and teaching philosophy. Now, philosophy has several branches. There's critical philosophy and speculative philosophy. Critical philosophy is largely organized around what we can understand and perceive through our senses. If we can't see it, smell it, taste it, hear it, and whatnot, touch it, then it's inadmissible within those schemes of thought that are contained within critical philosophy.